大家好, I'm Bala from Bala's Simple Chinese School. If you are a beginner, intermediate, advanced, looking for HSK study, business Chinese, or simply want to improve your everyday communication, I'm the teacher for you. Come and join me for a free travel class at Bala's Simple Chinese School.
Hello everyone, Craig here. Welcome to another edition of the podcast, Tell Craig Your Story. Today we'll be speaking to Inen Vai. Now, Inen was born in Lima, Peru. He holds 2 degrees in education and law and politics science. He moved to China in 2003. He has been a mindful meditation practitioner since 2014. In 2017, he started studying biomagnetism therapy, and at the end of 2018, he was empowered in the Shamanic Inca Lineage of Maria Apaza in the mountains of Cusco in Peru. With having a career in music and an in-depth study of meditation and relax therapy in China and Nepal, he eventually became a practical healer. And after many years of practice and healing, he has developed a unique healing technique combining ancient Andean musical instruments and the shaman drum vibration. Now, he also has classes for healing and meditating, and he also has drum classes as well. But before we go, please go to our website. We're at Podbean. Tell Craig Your Story at podbean.com. We have a link tree that tells you where Tell Craig Your Story podcast is streaming. We are on all the major streaming services. We're on all the social medias, and we have a YouTube account there. Make sure you're subscribing to get all the latest updates. And we have VK for our Russian listeners and WeChat for our Chinese listeners at Tell Craig Your Story. This is my chat with Shaman Inen Vai on Tell Craig Your Story podcast. Hi Inen, how are you doing today?
Great, very good.
Thank you for inviting me into this beautiful home that you have. It's a very nice setup, and it's your business. Tell us a little bit about where we are now.
Well, my studio is a healing studio. First, I do shamanic work. Then I will explain what is about all the shamanic thing.
Yes.
But yeah, already many years. Actually, this place is new. Also very mysterious how we found this place. I can share it with you.
Yes.
Yeah, we do shamanic work. It basically is to healing people about emotional traumas, some physical illness. So we do counseling to people who probably are feeling a little lost in their life, and we give all the guidance to people who want to be healed in their. In Shaman, we call healing the soul. Yeah.
And how has this been affected, with everybody going into lockdown all the time, and has that affected your business? And how have you sort of dealt with these sort of situations?
Okay, so it's very interesting because probably the reality we make is according to what we believe. Actually, we believe everything is good. We trust that everything is good. And since I resigned my job, I used to be a lawyer. I'm a former lawyer. I work here in Shanghai for many years as international school teacher. And since we decide to jump to the swimming pool, not even knowing if have a water or not, we just jump, we resign. So because it was a strong call for changing my life. So it was great. Obviously, you know, people in this current time is still scared. People think too much, you know. Obviously, the way we do in the work, sometimes online, we do different things. But I would say it's good.
That's
still good for us. Yes.
Yeah. And now that it's slowly starting to open back, are you starting to get more people to come back into your business? Like, is it starting to sort of pick up now?
Yeah, yes. Obviously, like the situation, you know, with all the things that happen in this reality about some people is probably not really happy with this lockdown policy, you know. I don't matter about this. Whatever is happening, probably I will take it in the best way, because we're already past 2 months of being in lockdown, but it's not bad actually, because in this modern world, currently people go too fast, think too much.
Yes.
We always doing, but when you have the chance to just slow down or stop, so people get desperate because probably subconsciously they don't want to be with themselves.
Yes.
Because it is scared what they can find. So for me, my experience during lockdown, I made new songs. I meditate. I have my own personal retreat. And it was not problem at all. I try to be as much present as I can be, because as a shaman, as a healer, forced. I don't want to probably use the word force, but as much present we are, we can heal him in the best way. And we follow what we probably realize about our life, and it was not bad. But during this time, I remember in the past, many people were crying in the neighborhood, you know the situation, no? And now it's getting a little complicated, but for example, the next week we're going to have the session for the full moon, because every full moon we have a concert and healing music and the ceremony. It will be the last full moon of the year, and it's almost getting fully booked again. Right. So every month we get fully booked. Obviously, I feel it's a little slow because people thinking, and I trust everything's okay. So probably in this point, and after my life probably have this change, I try to balance my life and try to observe my thought and my emotions in order to probably also healing myself, because one of the worst things is people think too much, as I mentioned before. Yeah. And according to the University of Harvard, the average of thought that every individual have in one day is over 60 or 70,000 thoughts in one day. So, but the worst thing is not even the thought, but it's because we don't realize that we're thinking. So does it create a lot of issue, because if you go into the thought, you see the quality of your thoughts mostly is pessimistic, and that is the point that we generate the reality. We don't like it.
Right.
So, for example, you want to study university, you want to do how you started thinking, oh, I want to be calm down, and then that doesn't happen. So everything starts with the mind. The mind has this power to create reality. But if we're so negative, that is the reality what we create all the time. And then in my life, I resigned my job many years ago due an illness. So the whole story about why I became a shaman, it was not about the mind. It's so interesting because I got very sick. Like you're a teacher too. We're a colleague. But at one point, I feeling I was not happy with my life. It's always something. Even you have the money, you know. My job, the money was not bad actually. You know, sometimes we go do extra job. You know, in China we do the extra work. And my salary was very, very beautiful. Always taking care how many share of my account every time checking. You know, Probably now even I don't care about this. It's about a big change. But I always feeling something was missing in myself. Always something like empty. And I got very sick. I was in Peru with my son, climbing the mountains close to Machu Picchu in Peru. Beautiful, beautiful. But then I feel something weird. It's something weird. And then I come back to China and they check, and I have some problem, some illness with my digestive system. And it was the starting point why I decided to make this change in my life, because I almost could die. Even it was no cancer, it was kind of sort of, they call hernia or access. Very painful. And the cure also was very, very painful. I never in my life, I have this experience of so painful, so much pain. I cry every time I want to go to toilet. They're like, oh my God. It's like giving a birth. I guess, because it was very painful. So all this event that happened physically, it made me wake up and realize that the one who made myself in this stage, that my physical body collapsed and literally broken, it was myself. So this was a starting point. I said, well, what I do with my life? It should be like this? Should I change? But during the pain, because I was in a clinic, in that time I have insurance. And now I have no insurance for, I think, over 7 years. No insurance. And I cry, and then I ask to God, whatever, I want to change. I don't want this. I want to find a different way in my life. I don't want to suffer like I'm suffering right now. And I asked this. So with my heart, with my tears. And then I recover, come back to school, and things start to change. So I start to be interested in meditation. Even when nobody told me what is meditation. I had no idea about meditation. Right. So this idea is coming from my very inner love to find this necessity to cure myself. Meditation come, and after a friend invited me to a meditation group, then my first meditation teacher came. She helped me also to realize a lot of stuff. And this, my journey in the spiritual path began. But it was necessary, that deep pain, for make me wake up and try to probably change that I was doing probably against myself, And after this experience, I say, the physical or emotional pain, is the energy of awakening. Because that strong pain make me awake and make me realize that, wow, how much damage I did to myself. When I reacting, when I blame people, when I curse, when I lie, when I angry. And this is probably all the impurities that the Buddhists call the impurities of the mind. They call the 5 khandhas, or aggregates. I don't want to go there, it's a very deep Buddhism. But understand that the mind carries this negative side. I always call the program, the matrix. This is the progress in our mind. So all these impurities I see as a seed. But we have the bad thing, but we have the good things. So let the good things that every human being have inside to make grow, and this is what I do. Feeding the good part of myself and try to put this balance in my life. And when I found this process, the healing happened after probably almost 7 years or maybe more. I don't remember now. I'm not getting sick. Actually, it's interesting. Since I believe I'm not getting sick anymore, my body is healing, my body is good. I never know even a bad cold. Just once, I remember 4 years ago, I was working so much, I didn't take care of myself. I got bad cold for 1 day. But after that, nothing over 7 years or 6 years. No sick, no even bad cold. Just
that's amazing.
Yes. So this is the power of the mind. Yeah. So, and when I begin to probably healing myself, I have the strong, I don't want to say call to healing others. And this is actually was my journey began to become a shaman.
Right. Amazing. I've got so many questions to ask. I want to go back to where you're from. So you were born in Lima?
Yes.
In Peru?
Yes.
I don't know too much about Peru other than the Machu Picchu and got a good soccer team. So tell us...
well, not that good. You guys win. That's okay.
But tell us about, growing up there, and were your mum and dad involved in this healing process?
Okay, so about my parents, my father passed away in 2009, the year I know my wife. Actually, very interesting.
Wow.
Thing. My mom, because in this process, actually it's interesting because, but that always, actually what we are right now recording is my healing studio. So normally I always just have a personal healing session here. But today we're doing something very different. It's very interesting. Because you can smell the Palo Santo.
Yes.
The sage is always here to clean the space. Obviously, the family is probably involved in this healing process because our family backgrounds, and I regret to say, most of the issue we got as an adults, for example, a relationship or emotional things, the origin and the root are in the childhood, and the childhood implies family.
Yes.
I would say in Shanghai, just in Shanghai, not counting my clients in Peru, on other part out of China, but just in China, I already get probably over 100 people receiving personal healing.
Right.
And obviously, for me, as a former lawyer, I study philosophy, I study logic, so it's not cannot avoid thinking in the logical way and observing. Most 99%, to not say 100%, I would say 100%, the issue that they have as an adult, the origin is the childhood. Because when I ask, sometimes it's so magic. I said, I know. I told the eyes, I say, do you have a problem with your mom? How do you know? Because when the people tell me their physical illness, I know what is the root, because it's part of the work we're doing to see the connection between the physical illness as a manifestation of some emotion that is trapped in your physical body. So, you this. And when we do the connection, we do the mysterious thing that the shaman we do, and confirming, oh yes, it was the family. Cases, how to say, I have one case, for example, she was, that client, the girl was abused by the dad. And that leads to many things. But the conscious mind forgot.
Yes.
Because it was so traumatic that she actually
blocked it. Yeah.
But when we recall this, because we do some also past life stuff, or past things, but I don't want to try to avoid as much. It is connected with the karma and the past life. It was very interesting thing. But the origin was the family. In most of everyone come from dysfunctional families. The dad, the mom, the divorce, because this is the way probably humans building the family. And if the parents come from a dysfunctional family and two dysfunctional beings meet together and create a family, obviously this will pass unconsciously to their kids. And obviously it will a change of problems. And I'd always say, cut this circle before you become a parent, because then we pass. In my case, my family was a very strong reason why I also resigned my job, because I know, and I don't feel bad to share this because it can inspire people. Because after I become a meditator, also with teaching mindfulness, I was realizing myself, my mom is still alive, and how I cannot feel love for my mother, because even time I go to Peru, I'm mostly traveling, I see her a short time, then come back to China, and then during my meditation process I realized I come to China to escape from my family. And most of people come abroad because they don't want to see their family. So it's some sort of trigger to be around in the country or with their family. They find a job abroad because they're going to see their family and facing what is painful for them. And it was my case. So then I read, wow, how come I not feel love for my mom? I do self-reflect. And that's one of the reasons I decided to go to Peru, because I know I need to heal in this family issue for myself. So I resigned my job and probably begin to finish unfinishing task. And then there was the journey. It was very interesting how it was. Then I was in Peru almost 2 years during this process. I became a shaman in that process. I had the happiness to see my mom and healing this painful part myself during the time my mom was alive. Then my mom passed away in 2009. I already come back to China. Then I was here a month, and then I knew it. I knew that she would pass away. And then I returned. My daughter called me, and abuelita, grandma passed away, and I have to fly again to Peru. And it was very mysterious things. I probably later I can be more detailed, but the family definitely is involved in this process. And it's not bad, because as a shaman, as a healer, we have the family that we deserve, definitely. Sometimes we complain about our family. Why I have this father? Why I have this mom? Because of what we deserve. Because this is part of the learning process that we have to face as a human, to find the divinity that we have as a human. But because if we reject that we hate, healing never comes. Yes. So the point is to face what is painful, and then healing will come. But if you are present, healing comes. If you are not present, definitely healing will be very difficult to come, because healing is together with consciousness. And this is the very powerful and very mysterious thing happening. Trust me, I don't get to the mysterious thing yet, but that's why family is very important in this process.
Now, do you have a big family? Do you have brothers and sisters, siblings?
No, because it's interesting. You know, Latin America you see a lot of like China, many people. The families in Latin America, in Peru, is not an exception. All my friends have 4, 5, 6 brothers and sisters.
Yes.
I was the only one in my neighborhood. It was just me.
Right.
And all the time complain to my mom. Complain why I have no brother and sister. And she remain silent. But in the process, when I returned to Peru, I got the answer. Why I have no... It's so interesting. And that's why I say, in Shamanic we say, you heal the soul, you heal the body. The soul is connected with the emotions, with the traumatic things. It's some sort of the container of all your experience, traumatic, the good, the one. In this life, in all the life. That's why God got this sense of persona, me, yo, do the soul. And soul and spirit is not the same. But during this soul path, I have to resign my job, go to Peru, and I knew the reason why I have no brothers and sisters, because my mom never told me. And that is part of the healing process, because my mom has so much emotions. When I asked my mom, are you happy, mom? You were happy in your life? And she think for a moment, she said, no, I never was happy. So she never was happy in her life. It just made me reflect how many of our parents, they work for us, they sacrifice their life for their children, but they were never happy. So they would do the whole thing, but nobody really enjoy. We always sacrifice for the others.
What about them?
Yes. So, and then my mom told me, she lost the baby due to her emotions. She saw my father like a little, probably 500 meters, My mom used to have a salon, the beauty salon. She do the hair for all the, in a small town. She, in that time, was the only one, and it's very busy. But where is my dad? She saw my dad with other woman, in quotations. And then that emotion, because she was already pregnant with my sister, the elder sister. And due to this emotion, she lost the baby. But actually, it was not other woman. It was the cousin just fooling her.
Being so stressed.
So the cousin. It was no other woman. So this is actually what the Buddha say: perception is deception. How many things we perceive as real, but it's not real. I do that emotion. My mom lost the baby. Like it was my. So one of the reasons. Then she could get me, and then can have more baby because she was already old. So this is very interesting. That's why emotion is involved in all this healing process. Because why is stress? Stress is a strong emotion. What is anger? It's emotion. What is sadness? It's emotion. So healing implies emotions, and emotions are very interesting things. Because you guys, you're from Australia. You're a native English speaker. I speak Spanish, but as a teacher, we have to learn, of course, in English. And if you see the word emotions, one of the root is motion. In English, motion is movement. So you have motion, and the E is the energy.
Right.
It's energy and motion. So therefore, emotion is the energy moving through your physical body, your energy moving and make you feel something's wrong with me, what's going on, why, hey, all this create the drama life. Because this energy, emotion itself is a program. Emotion is a certain program. If you talk about anger, a certain program. It's like the program, the computer program.
Yeah.
You have the application. The application has certain features. Or, for example, create a draw. So that drawing program cannot play music unless you program this program to also play music.
Right.
So the emotions and certain emotions work in that same level because it's a little small program that is programming to have certain reactions and certain physical, probably manifestation. When you manifest in a physical way. Because we only can manifest the emotions when you, for example, you're angry, the heart, then you feel hot, it's manifest. Yes. But actually, emotion is not physical, but it manifests in the physical level. That's what you can sense.
Yes.
It's so interesting because we also study 2 or 3 years of Chinese medicine, so I understand also for different sources. But this is the reason. So family is very important in this healing process, and I realized why I have no brothers and sisters. During this process, I understood a lot of things from my mom she never told me before.
Yes.
And when I decided to healing myself, I had to ask a question because, and for the people can listen this conversation, if you have your parents alive, you have a strong chance. Don't be scared. Ask questions to your parents, communicate with them, and try to find a way to healing your parents, your mom, your dad, because when they pass away, the process is a little more difficult. Because when they're alive, it's much more easier to begin this healing process through your family members.
Absolutely, that's a great way to do it because we all have families, we all have mum and dads, but communication is very, very important, and I'm sure that's a big part of the healing process, right?
Of course, because I would say, because we communicate through the word with the language, right? But obviously, the language is a very interesting mechanism to express. Every individual express themselves through the language, through talking. But no, communication is not just talking. But in the language, I would say the language has the limitation because the language will never be able to describe reality, and that reality is. And that's why when we try to fix and to help people during the healing process, we use the language, but we use also certain techniques that not necessarily implies language, but imply energy, imply music, imply Reiki, imply this non-conceptual way to bring healing, because energy can also use for healing, because emotion is energy and motion. But you have a white, you have a black. So you have the disease, but you have the medicine too. So there's the other side of the energy and motion, because we also can use energy to healing people through the music, to the drumming, to the chanting, to plant it the good things in people, or let the person realize probably that they cannot really see by themselves. And this is the process to open things. And I always call the domino effect. Because if you change something, you put many dominoes. But you start to make one change, a deep change in your life. Everything will start to change.
Yes.
So I call, in my practice, I call the domino effect. So you open something in person, because some people can, expecting, because my healing is not cheap. It's not cheap. It's not that expensive. Yes. Yeah. But it's like, okay, let's try to fully engage in the session, you pay your money for that, and try to do your best to open your heart and tell that actually what is in your heart and your mind, to give me some clues for the process. And in this process, probably opening the heart and probably close their eyes. Like my master said, close your eyes, open your heart. It was the most strong, powerful way to get the people touching the core being and begin this process of healing through conceptual and we say the non-conceptual way.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
So you have two majors, one in education and you spoke about it, law and politics.
Yeah.
So how have you brought that sort of knowledge into your healing? And why the change? Why the two changes from being a teacher or lawyer to a teacher to now your healing technique?
Actually I realized a lot of things. We never know what we can be good at until we try. I never know I can become a teacher. I studied law. I'm a lawyer. In this process, I was doing music many years in China. I play Latin music. I know how to play conga, the salsa. But it's part of I call the past life. But it's this body life. But I call the past because I think I'm not the same person like back 10 years ago. It's totally different. If people can see me, I have long hair. The way I dressing, the way I thinking, speaking, it's a different person. Yeah. It's totally different. When I see my pictures from that picture we have 10 years ago, I even see as an energy, because I can feel energy. Oh, this guy is not me. Oh, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
So at that time I was different person. Okay, but obviously what we learn, nobody can take it from you. But for me, in the experience to become a teacher was, I still musician. I remember my ex-wife, hey, we need substitute teacher, please come to help. At that time, I'm in China over 18 years, maybe 19, maybe 20. 2003 or 2, I come to China.
Yep.
I forgot.
Yep.
Really. At that time was not so many foreigners, and they needed substitute teachers. So as a sub, I come, oh my God, so tired, because I'm still working as a musician. You know the life of a musician. Yeah. Working late, drinking, and then morning go to the school. It was killing for me. So it's interesting because, and then I did after school activities, and I said, wow, I like this. So interacted with the kids, talking, and they're, especially with the middle school one, they're so eager to learn, to sing, to play games, that this energy activates. This is the way it is. It activates something that's inside of you.
Yeah.
Not because of the light. It's activating something as a seed that's inside of you. But I never knew it until I tried. I thought, I like this. And I did my first degree. It's so interesting. In that time, I was no shaman. That's why I say, as all souls, we have certain knowledge. The body have a knowledge. The body knows things. It's very interesting too. But there's something in myself. I start to do like right now we do the positive the degree or positive affirmation. This is a metaphysical way to manifest reality. And I did by myself. It's interesting because every time I stop, especially because we teach Spanish. I teach. I used to teach IB Spanish. But every time when I was a substitute, I always follow the direction of the real teacher, in quotation. He told me what to do. I think I have strong willingness. I want to have my classroom. I want to have my classroom with my name there. I don't want to follow other people's lesson plan. I want to make my own lesson plans. I want to use my brain. And in this process, I quit music, actually. A part of my first action, it was I sold all my instruments. I just keep my precious flute, but the rest, I have a lot of equipment. I just sold everything. Nice guitar, amazing microphone, the wireless. I sold everything. And then, because if one person really want to make the change, you have to probably cut the past. And I did all this with unconsciously. And I read a paper, a white paper, but I want to become a teacher. I want to have my own classroom with my name. I did several things. I want to have a stable job, and then it's so interesting. After probably several years, because I put this paper, before I began my studies as a teacher, and I put this paper in one big book. And after many years, I already, I was checking then I found the paper. And almost everything in the list. It was amazing. I have Mr. Mesa, my own classroom, my own teaching. I already many years in IB, already qualified. It was so amazing how reality it could manifest. It was this simple action of writing a paper that all my intention was being manifested in the reality. Because I did. I don't know why I did.
Yes.
And it was so crazy. It manifests. So that's why I say, if you want something in your life, just put your heart, and you can be doing this little work. Write something in there, put your intention, and then magic things happen. And that is the way probably something opened up. And as a lawyer, it also helping me a lot. This knowledge, how to talk with people, teacher. Yes. In my current job, I do workshop, I do retreat, and it's no problem. Also as a musician, I'm not scared to. The last time we have a big session with many people in one theater here in Shanghai, I forgot the name, in Pudong, beautiful, many people. So I'm not scared to speak in front of many people. So we have this skill as a musician, as a lawyer, or whatever you study, it will help you eventually in whatever. Even I'm not a lawyer. I mean, I'm a lawyer, but I know work as a lawyer. Even I'm a teacher, but I'm a different kind of teacher. Probably more like a spiritual, I was a spiritual teacher. But all this skill helping you a lot, definitely. Never is wasting time, because you always can use what you learn eventually in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things when I first was doing research for this interview was that I And I'll be honest, I didn't know what a shaman was.
Okay.
And I'm sure not all the listeners that'll be listening will know what a shaman is. So can you give us like a little bit of a background on what it really is?
Okay, it's so interesting, from the word shaman or sama in Chinese is I say Mongolian, they call Tungur language in the Siberia or this remote area close to Russia, China, Mongolia. And the language, in the etymology of the language, shaman or saman is the one who sees. It's interesting because it's the one who have the capability to see things that probably ordinary people, common people cannot see. But actually, I think everyone have this power to see. But because we are so busy with our mind thinking all the time, that we cannot see things that probably they're obvious. Like right now, for example, we have a car. But we say the first shaman was a Tesla. I always say the first shaman was Tesla. we bought our Tesla.
A modern
shaman, I would say.
Yeah.
And in this experience, driving in China, people there's no present. They drive in a certain way. I avoid many times and avoid accident. Somebody crashed me because I was fully present when I driving. So somebody come to me, like I just stop or go fast to avoid the accident because my work is to be fully present. I try to be present 24 hours. Means I'm here and I'm aware that I'm here. I'm aware that I'm making a drum. I'm aware that I'm talking to you. Because if we see, we have 70,000 thoughts in one day. I'm aware what my mind is thinking. So this is the work that this means shaman is the one to see because can observe their mind, observe the reality. If from that process of observation is the healing, the energy of healing comes and can see things in people. For example, a person, or when I see a person, I can see probably the majority of the emotions. Just give an example. A person who has the wrinkle in the middle part of the forehead.
Yeah.
It's because it's always angry, for example, or always sad. Some people have a sad face because that emotion, it will imprint that in their face. It's so interesting. So, but as I always say in the session, mouths can lie all the time, but the energy and your face cannot lie.
Yeah, that's well said. So true.
Yes, because it's interesting, people like have a sad face because when we talk about they have a lot of problems in childhood, was abandoned, or was abused, and some people don't know how to be happy because the parents were not happy, so they cannot raise a happy children.
They've only seen what they've saw through their family. Yeah.
Yes. So it's interesting, and this is the point that the shaman, it was because I need to translate from Spanish and English, but it was the shaman always appeared in the community because the shamanic work is back 1,000 of years, probably 12,000 years when the first settlement of human began to be close, to make a community, right? So it was always the shaman there. It was the medicine doctor, the one who hold the wisdom in the community to tell what to do, what not to do. People have the illness that the shaman know, because in this process of observation, the shaman observe that certain plants, have a quality as a medicine. This is the way actually the herbal medicine works through the shamanic practitioner. This is the way also the Chinese medicine acupuncture works back in the shaman culture, because even the religion, it had the origin in the shamanic. Even shaman, we have no religion. I have no religion. This is probably I don't want to go because I don't want to speak about religion. Yeah. But the origin of the shaman is not religious. It's just observation and connection with the elements. That's what we say, the shaman always in the evening observing the stars. That is the way the astrology work, all this.
Yes.
Because you observe the thing, you observe the elements.
Yes.
And observation is one of the most powerful things.
Of course.
But observation is probably one of the scientific methods as well. If we study the scientific method is observation. But this observation was probably the opening, not like a limited science, don't believe in religion, don't believe in energy, don't believe in spirit, because they closed mind. But the shaman was totally closed. And I would say when you really connect with the elements, you will feel it's something divine, or something. You go to Australia, you see the sunrise, you see the beauty, you say, somebody have to make this. So it's too beautiful to be random. And that same approaching when you see in Cusco in the mountains, or when I was in Yunnan, and you meditate in the morning.
Yeah,
you say,
it's beautiful.
It's something divine there.
Yeah.
So the shaman found the key to access to this divine energy through the observation, through their heart, through their connection, to bring healing to the community. And this is the way the Reiki, all this is kind of healing method that we call probably holistic. Personally, I from the tradition in the Inca, because in Peru we have the Incas.
Yes.
And this my tradition back before the Incas.
Wow.
Yes, it's interesting because my master is from the Quero. The Quero is one of the last tribe from original Inca. It was almost untouched by the Spaniards, because the Spaniards, when they come to the Americas, they try to impose the religion, right? It's imposition. So it was so interesting because I heard the stories that the Quero, it was the last Inca tribe, and because their community in Paucartambo in the mountains is a little remote. It's like a 4,000 very high meters. It's very difficult, very hard conditions. So the Spanish don't bother to go. And when I heard the story about the elders, they make an invisible energy field to make the community invisible to the eyes of the Spanish. It's very interesting. This is why my teacher called the popoch. Make the popoch. Popoch is a bubble.
Right.
So sometimes when I bring in some Palo Santo, we bring some stuff they cannot bring to China, we made this invisible thing. If the people in the immigration, they don't see. Actually, I bring a lot of stuff very interesting that probably will be little forbidden, like a Palo Santo, all this stuff that you cannot bring this stuff.
Yes.
And I brought even from the Amazon, my Amazon leaf.
Oh,
this is from the Amazon.
Right.
So this is probably forbidden. But I brought this, Actually, it's not a bad thing, but, and I make invisible things. And this is what my teacher taught the student, to create the invisible as your own intention. You can make invisible things, and they make invisible. And most of the teaching and the way of this tradition, it was almost untouched from the Spanish. So back at the shamanic things, it's a very mysterious thing because it's probably the unification of the elements. That is the earth, the fire, the wind, the water, the ether, all these elements interacting. The spirits, all this, we had the 4 main power animals. They represent the 4 directions. We have the snake, we have the jaguar, we have the hummingbird, and we have the eagle or the condor as the main spiritual things. This is so interesting. Things that is the mysterious part of shaman. But shaman also can access a different state of consciousness in order to be in touch with the spirit, in order to heal. And this is all mysterious. Probably will take hours. I don't want probably go through this.
Yes.
But mention is some sort of part, especially my shamanic practice. I call this probably very eclectic. I don't know in English you have this word, eclectic.
Yes.
Eclecticism, I mean, it's not just my tradition, but I try to integrate a different traditions. I learned it from Buddhism, I learned it from Taoism, from Chinese medicine, from even the music, because I am also a musician. So all this knowledge integrate into the power of healing. Yes. So in this integration is that some sort of, I would say, the normal things that you can see, you can touch, the music, but also the component of the mysterious part of shamanism, about the spirit, about the state of consciousness, about seeing things, a sense, things that probably common people cannot sense. And through my practice, we develop this sense. You know, yesterday I met a client that during the personal healing session, I tell her, your grandma one of your grandma passed away? No, my grandma passed away. And after 2 days, the grandma passed away. Because somehow, in that trance, in that things, I saw I saw the grandma. So the grandma was ready to leave. And I saw, and she was like, oh my God. So many things like this, it can happen during the session. But normally my master would say, don't say these things. But I share with people in order to create this awareness that not necessarily things that you cannot see, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
That's right.
Because I'm a lawyer. I used to be a logical person and a teacher. And for me to switch my mind in this 360 degree and believe what I'm believing now, is because what happened to me through my journey. It was a very mysterious and very mystical that happened to me that makes me believe and makes me say, I have to believe. It's some sort of things that my logical mind cannot understand. But not everything is a logical mind.
Yes.
Not everything is logical. Because when the logical mind tries to understand emotions, that's why certain psychology doesn't work. Because it's a lot of things that is very mysterious here that is involved in the whole things. Like a spirit, like a possession, all this is. That's what we talked about before the exorcism. We also can do exorcism. All these mysterious things are part of this reality. But humans, most of humans cannot see it. And my work as a shaman is to see beyond the mind and see beyond the physical eyes can see.
Right. It's very interesting.
Yes, very.
How do you become a shaman? Or how did you become a shaman?
This is interesting. Because I never think about it. And this is also a mysterious thing. Remember I mentioned the illness? So I guess in the moment I asked for this process for healing myself and the meditation coming, it was like again the domino effect. So many things. I open one door, then another door open, another door open. And then I already bought my ticket to Peru. I already have my ticket. Okay? Even I don't know what is going to be my journey. Because I was so scared to quit my job. Because, and we need to... I was thinking we need a job. But it's not true. We don't need a job. So I need a job. I need stability. And I realized it was all my mind. The sense of security is also is a mind. There's no such a sense of security. It really, I realized. Because I have to quit my job. I have no much money. I mean, I have some money to keep it with me to support myself because I'm not working. But then one of my friends in Peru, that she also already shaman, she always was telling me, hey, you're a shaman, because in Peru I did music too. My music was very shamanic. But I never think about that way because my mindset is amazing. Because I already have my ticket and my friends say, hey, Maria Apaza, que is the master, it will open an initiation. Do you want to be initiated as shaman? What? You know what I mean? It was not in my mind. And it's interesting because I already bought my ticket. So when you're ready to make some changes, the universe or whatever energy, of course we have a name for that, but I want to confuse people. Just say the universe, it brings you things. I already got my ticket. So anyway, I'm going to Peru. But at the moment I just got my ticket and I know I was going to Peru, one of the biggest masters in Peru, the biggest, one of the biggest, opened the initiation. So see the synchronicity, all these things. Then I see, because I already understand synchronicity, I say, okay, something else is destiny. So I just put my trust on that. Okay? It was not cheap. Really, it was not cheap. That's why initiation implies it's not cheap, really.
But I was reading that before you become a healer, you need to be healed yourself.
Yes, this is
Tell us about that.
This is one of the parts. So this was all about this process. That's one of the reasons, actually. Remember, I already meditation many years, but I have this sense that it's something big. I need to heal for myself. That's actually the reason why I come back to Peru, because I know I need to healing my family thing with my mother. And guys, this whole thing was combining for me, because in the moment I was healing myself, it comes the process to become a shaman. It wasn't interesting. It was all this ongoing process at the same time, because the most I understand in my shamanic, how the shaman healing, I understand how to heal myself. It was the one cause effect thing, and it was so mysterious because I decided to trust. And what my master in one of the class, she said this: close your eyes and open your heart. And I couldn't understand what means, but after several reflection in meditation, I realized when you close your eye, you have to trust. This is the sense, because you cannot see with your physical eyes, but you can see with your heart. So that means I have to trust, and trust in the heart, it means trust your path, trust to everything for good is going to be for you, but you must stop this negative mind and begin to open up the abundance in yourself. And that was my understanding. And then this process also, the healing myself, was so mysterious. But during this process of just becoming a shaman, I already got initiation. Also, something very mysterious happened. I remember we go to the mountains with all the people. It's like a 4,200 high, and one of the biggest glaciers, mountains in Cusco, is the Ausangate. It's like a Mount Kailash. It's very sacred for the Buddhists, for the Hindu. For us, for the Inca, is the Ausangate. It's a big glacier, beautiful, big. It's also lake there down. So we just arrived, because we are city people. Going to 4,000 is like, oh my God, But I don't know why. I feel great. I already have one day in Cusco. I acclimatized to the highest. And we go with the cart and with the donkey, people. If we made the base there, close to the Usangate. And then something was calling me. And I decided to go to the mountains by myself, because people was dying there. Because, oh my God, too high. We decided, the organizer decided to have a rest first. But myself, I was full of energy. And I decided to go. And I go to the mountains. And I always carry, but not the flute, my flute.
Oh, your flute.
Yes. I always carry my flute. Actually, that flute is already give away. A long story. This is the flute I made. But it's always like I like to play it like this. But very high pitch. And then a condor, condor, like an eagle, they come. They will come. It's not the first time that happened.
Wow.
Here back in the months ago, we have a session in the mountains,
Yeah.
and the eagle comes.
Wow.
This is actually a very mysterious thing.
It's amazing.
It comes, the condor. But then, okay, I keep walking, and then probably in 150 meters, there was a big stone. In the moment I was playing the flute, I saw some sort of spirit, person, I don't know how to describe, full of color. They have a hat, but full of color. The clothes. Every time I play the flute, she or he or it, I don't know how to say, begin to observe me. But the moment I stop playing, I try to observe, hiding.
Right.
If we were in this game for a while, playing the flute, can't you see? I think I was approaching, but then one point I feel better I not go there, because we have some stories, but there's some sort of old spirits, okay? And I hear these stories, it's better I not go, because I have all these stories, people got lost, and then I step back and I return. But this mysterious thing happened the first day before I become a shaman officially.
Right.
And after that experience, become a shaman, after the empowerment from my teacher, more mysterious things actually happen. Then, in that time, I already become a shaman. I already have my title, Pampa Misayo, Chumbi Pacos, like as titles as a shaman. In the paper, you know. But then you need experience. You need the healing, you know. And then we have a ceremony in Lima. I come back to Lima. I will have ceremony. During the ceremony, I got possessed. Oh, I remember. That spirit called the Gentiles.
Oh.
We call the Gentil. I don't know why. The Gentil. Because Gentil in Spanish means gentle.
Right.
I don't know why. But there are many stories that people just, like a story about the guys in the sea, they see the mermaid taking the sailor, you know.
Oh, yes.
Some sort of story like this. Yeah. So it always true, by the way, because people not great. This, but I don't want to talk about this. The issue is, okay, then back in Peru we have a ceremony, a shamanic ceremony in Lima. And then during the visions in the ceremony, I got possessed with one spirit. And I'm totally convinced it was this guy. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if people can see.
Oh, wow.
Because I have an ancient pottery. So I holding in my hand. So you see, the face is like a in trance. Maybe some how call that? Some plant that the shaman drink.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure it was this shaman. It came to my body. It was interesting because I never had this experience, you know, as a lawyer, whatever, you know.
Yes.
It possessed my body. I was like having visions, and then I couldn't really control my body.
Wow.
I began dancing like the sumo, you know, the sumo fighter.
Yeah.
And the people see me like, what's going on there? And then I hear things and I see things. In this process, I feel, you know, the Greek mythology, the Atlas who carried the world. Yeah, in this point, I feel like the Atlas carrying something very heavy on my shoulders. And goes, screaming, something heavy. He was heavy. It's something, in the moment I scream and I hold this energy, I don't know, a big ball of energy, and I holding and put it down, then I back to myself.
Right.
And this experience is so mysterious, because when I see the other shaman that was there, that shaman, it was not human. I saw the face like a dragon or like a reptile. It was not a human, because I could see. In this moment, I get to see beyond my physical eye. It was not human. I see something. But I didn't get scared. It was so interesting. because they got scared. That after this experience and this ceremony in Lima, because we did the ceremony close to the ancient pyramid, it carried a lot of energy. Right. And then whatever was in my mind, because after the initiation I was intending to come back to China and continue being a school teacher. So I hold this mind, maybe part-time, you know this, you plan B, maybe this. But after the experience to being possessed by this shaman, because it's from the Moche culture, it's back 1200 BC, we saw another spirit coming. It came. And the shaman, the more experienced shaman, because I was very beginner shaman, he told me the other light we saw, it was the Dama, the Lady of Cow, and it's one pyramid in Peru. They found the mummy of the pre-Incan ruler. It was a woman, but that ruler, that queen, it was a shaman. Have a long hair. They found the mummy, even have a tattoo, like a snake in their arms. It's very interesting. Right. I want to go to see her, because then I come back, the coronavirus, I didn't. So when I come back to Peru, I have a lot of work to do. Okay? Because I haven't seen her. I didn't have time the last time also. But it was connected with that culture. So whatever, something back myself in that time, maybe even my soul, was this shaman. I don't want to think too much or figure out things, but it was so very interesting. The thing happened to me. Yeah. So that means then right after coming back to China, that my mind about also teaching, it disappeared. So the message said, you have to become full-time shaman and do work in Shanghai.
Did you see this in China or only
in Peru?
Only in Peru.
Most of the mysterious things happen in Peru. Peru have a lot of course, as a Peruvian, I connect. But in China, I also have a mystical experience with anything.
Because they have a long history as well.
Yes. So I also have this experience to see things, with nothing. I don't take drugs. I know smoke. I know drink. So this happened when my mind go in different state. We call it a shamanic state of consciousness. That means the mind switch in different state. As I mentioned before, everybody's mind is in the beta state. But when you switch to theta state, that means your mind is very calm. Yes. So you can access to different consciousness. Therefore, also you can access to certain visions. It's a very mysterious thing. I don't want to go through this, but it can be with the music, with the drums, with the breathing, in many ways. Not necessarily some plants like people in the Amazon do, but through breathing, through chanting, through playing drums, through meditation, through breathing, you can access to that different state of consciousness.
Yeah. So you come back to China, and then do you start your own healing process in China?
Actually, no, because I already became a shaman. I did work in Peru. Right. Because I stayed in Peru 2 years, more sort of 2 years, and I get a shaman in the first 3 months. I arrived in Peru. Right, I go to Peru. I go to the initiation. It was interesting. It was very amazing thing. And I did work in Peru. So began my work as a because in Peru I did healing as a Reiki beginning, but not as a shaman. So it was a different thing, Of course, I learned a lot. Also, it's possible people can get physical healing. That happened. I had one case. The woman had a stroke because her dad passed away in her arms. And that was very traumatic, and she got a stroke, brain stroke, and she couldn't taste anything, even spicy. the most spicy, she have no feeling. She cannot, people buy perfume for her, she cannot smell. She lost the sense of smell and taste. Can you see how horrible is eating that food you cannot taste? And during the process, because in this process she comes once a week, we work in the singing bowl, Reiki and the shamanic thing, and she get cured.
Amazing.
One time she called me Ricardo, this is my Spanish name. I can feel, I can smell. She was so happy. Now she's totally recovered. So she could get the sense of taste. Because we have a ceviche, is a fish with a lime, a very famous dish in Peru, one of the most famous dishes in Peru. And she, for the first time after 2 years, 3 years, they could feel the taste of the ceviche again. She was so happy.
Wow.
So that means, but of course,
Amazing.
but it implies a consistent therapy. Because sound, I did the sound healing with her. So constantly, also the practice, because she was one of my meditation students. I did a mindfulness course in Peru. She was one of the few actually finished the 8 weeks program, because many people quit. I'm 52. So if we decide, okay, I think I need healing. Okay, if we are 30s or 40s, how many years of feeding your anger, feeding your trauma, and keep making these things, long life, and expecting in one session you get healing, I'm sorry, it doesn't will not happen. You accumulate your emotion through so many experiences, so many years, and no, it's a process that I give to the client homework. I give the homework, and I would say all is mine. Everything is mine. So mind can make you sick, but also the mind can give you the medicine. So it's a process that people have to have a strong self-love to wanting get healing. It is also about related to consciousness. Because many people know. It's like I know I need to go to gym. I know I have to stop drinking and smoking. But people keep doing it.
Yes. Habits.
So you say, right, it's the habit. Because the habit is the subconscious mind, subconscious program, running. It's a strong forces. I don't want to even talk about Patanjali Sutras. This is the Yoga Sutras. But part of the what Patanjali mentioned in the sutra is the repetition creates reality. Repetition things create healing. You create new habit. You create a new belief, a new way of thinking that will bring the energy healing with you. But need a process to cancel the habit we don't want it, or the belief, and planting the new thing, the new belief, a new habit to running again. And that is the way we can self-programming. I call the hacking the mind. So then this way we can reprogram our mind, hacking what we don't want it, and get the healing.
It's amazing. In your healing process is you have like a drum class, and you say it's feeling the vibrations as a part of the healing process. So explain a bit more about that.
Okay, so before that, actually something came to my mind. After becoming a shaman, I returned to Peru. Obviously, I returned from Peru to here to Shanghai. I have nothing. I already quit my job, and probably I was really no, I will become those healing stations, but I just arrived. And how to start it, it was very interesting. I remember my fiancée in that time, is my wife right now. She had a tiny apartment. Because we living together with big apartment, but she feel too big apartment for myself. So she moved to small. And then I have all my instruments. I brought some guitar for all my instruments. And I was doing a session by myself. She went to work, and I was playing by myself. And the moment playing this instrument, we call the chacapa. The shamans in the Amazon begin to, I was playing music and doing the chanting.
Yeah.
And then something very mysterious happened. So obviously I was trying to how to make this music, and like my mind going some certain trance. And I clearly see the musician just left and the shaman came. This is my interpretation. So the musician, so I'm no musician anymore. So whatever you ask me, are you a musician? No, I'm no musician. I'm a healer. So we use the music for healing. And as we talking about before, everything is energy, vibration, and frequency. When you play the drum or you play the flute, it's some sort of vibration. Our body is also vibration, because our body is constantly in movement. Even when you're sleeping, even when you calm, your body is still moving.
Yes.
Because we are made of atoms, particles. It's constantly moving in the subatomical level. Either quantum physics or everything. It's nothing is static. Nothing is, even if you put this flute here, the flute is right now moving. We just cannot see it. So, healing music works in that level, in a level of the frequency. But it's not just the music or the frequency. It's the strong healing comes through the intention. This I tell my students the last week we have a session. It's not just the instrument. Some people play, for example, the singing bowl, so for the people to realize, like this.
Wow.
So it's not just the physical instrument. It's who play the instrument. It means it's not just the instrument of healing. It's the healer who made the healing. It's just the instrument. So your intentions running, close and within this vibration to bring healing. Of course, the person must believe they will receive healing. It's the placebo and nocebo effect. The placebo. The study, they give some pills. They say, okay, the pill you will get cured. You will good. But actually, the pill have nothing. Nothing. It's nothing. It's just like whatever, sugar, whatever. It's no have chemical. And people get cured from their disease because they believe they get cured. The nocebo effect is the opposite. If you thinking something is bad for you, then you get sick. My mother all the time told me, please don't put your woman hands on the water, cold water. Please, you get sick. Cover your neck. I always, when I was young, carry a scarf. He always said, it's because my mom planted that belief that if I touch water, if I do things, I will get sick. So most of the people get sick because they believe they will get sick if they do something. This is actually the way I know getting sick, because I know many of the little things that I was planting, I just cancel.
Yes.
So this is the way healing comes. So just the way can be with flute, or can be the drum. Right now I have this is the Japanese flute, it's the hakuhachi. So it's the vibration. For example, when I do my session, I used to also so if gone one way, or the guitar, or the singing, so it can be many ways. In Shanghai, we were, I would say, pioneers bringing the medicine music to China. In South America, we used to do that.
Yeah.
We call this medicine music. It's a strong movement in Peru, spreading in all Americas. It's music with meaning. Music with the healing intention. Music with the lyrics. Maybe it's not like a commercial music, but the message we bring is a healing message. For example, one famous Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I thank you, I love you. When we sing this song, so simple. People cry and feel releasing of certain emotion, because actually forgiveness is one strong healing medicine, to forgive. So it's amazing, the power of music.
Yes.
Can be the drum, can be the flute, even can be just the thinking. The last week I have a vocal tuning class. Is people can heal themselves with the Om. Om. So teaching how to, because every chakra are connected with one note, a music note. So we give this teaching how to, the chanting, it's a very interesting class. So this is all the ways can be healing. So in the drumming group, we choose the drumming. It's interesting. We begin with a lead. We are already over 25 people in the drumming group.
That's great.
So we started with 1, 2, because people feel. The last time also was very beautiful. We chanted a new song, and was people so connected. And that is the way you bring healing.
Yes.
Because when you do music, even you forget that you exist. So the idea that you exist, probably the ego mind, is to bring you so much sorrow, so much illness. But when in that moment you forgot even yourself, and you just become the music. You're a musician too. When you play music, you become the guitar, you become the note, you become the music. So then you lost yourself in that beautiful healing vibration. And that is the way people get feeling in their soul, and their emotion get more peace. Yes. One of the why the whole world is like this, because we have no peace in yourself.
Yes.
You find the peace in yourself. You find the inner peace, like the Kung Fu Panda. Like Master Shifu tried inner peace, and Kung Fu Panda found the inner peace. It could defeat the devil. This is true, because when you find your inner peace, you can defeat the devil that you also have inside. So the whole thing is about healing.
Yeah.
You probably kill your demons. You transform your demons into the angels that you also have inside. It's all about transformation. About, I call the mental transmutation. It's all about transmutation. Change this energy into a new energy. And that's why healing. And now we have many people in drumming group. Also myself, in this process of healing or bring healing, I making drums. Even I didn't know I can make shamanic drums. So I make flutes too. So I don't know. I just know how to make it. It was the process, And today, before coming to the interview, I was spending almost a half day, 6 hours, 7 hours, and at the last stage of making the drum, one of the legs broke. So the drum broke. Almost the drum finished. It's interesting because it's connected, because when I make a drum, I connect the drum with the person. So I already blessed the skin, I bless everything. So it's already, it's the second time with that climb, the drum broke. It's the second time. So that means that person has some issues. I already contacted him. It's an issue they have to go over because this energy is so strong. It's so mysterious. Yeah, it's so mysterious. Sometimes the drum is
no problem.
At this time, this is a very mysterious thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we already have many people in the shamanic group, drumming group, and more people is coming. We make the drums. People don't necessarily need to get the drum for me, so people can buy very cheap drum. But I don't recommend that because it's a mass production. A drum. I bless the drum. I connect with people. I do all what my people and the Indian American people do to make the drum. The Palo Santo, the blessing. I chanting, to empower this drum. I consecrate the drum for healing. So this is the way. and spend long time, we do with love. We do it for healing. But if people maybe no feel comfortable paying, because it's not that expensive, but it's not that cheap, so it's no problem. People can enjoy our drumming group. They can buy cheap drum and dabao, but you will feel that it's very different actually itself.
How do we find you on social media, and how do we get in touch to come to your sessions?
Well, I have my WeChat is Inen Vai Shanghai, or Inen Vai, Inen SH Shanghai. Also, they can find me in my channel. We're also growing the channel. We do some teachings, sessions. It's also our music is in my channel. Later, and probably you can put that description.
Yeah,
I
sure.
also have my Instagram.
Yes.
If people want to have a healing, also we do distant healing. Also, it's possible that distant healing or online sessions.
Now, that's what I wanted to ask. Now, can you still do it online? Is that, or do you have to physically be here to?
It's very interesting. This is what I learned in the Reiki. It can be distant Reiki.
Right.
So in the distant Reiki, it can be distant shamanic, because it's not just about your physical body, but because most is a non-physical body.
Yes.
They into discover the chakras. Chakra is an energy point. They also, like my people, remember I mentioned the popoch?
Yes.
They call the aura. It's very interesting. So we have the mental body and emotional body. So you access to that non-physical body in the non-physical way. That's why I respond to your question.
Yeah.
It's very mysterious, very interesting.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Interesting. I would say, don't be scared or afraid to be with yourself. Whatever healing will come when you face even the difficult traumas or the difficult moment in your life, like a family. Don't be scared to face it and to confront. Because the moment you confront even your worst nightmare, a healing will come in that action. When you're feeling scared, but you dare to cross the line, then the healing energy will come with you, because the healing energy is in you. Because you are your shaman, you are your healer. It comes in you. But don't be scared to pursue your healing, because everyone in this planet needs healing. So don't get scared to get healing.
Last question. Who is your greatest inspiration / hero, and why?
Interesting. I never think about it. Because human, we have the archetype. The hero is one archetype. Carl Jung, the psychologist guy, mentioned the archetype. The hero is also one archetype. But it's no means that we will become a Jesus or become Buddha. But it's the inspiration that all this person who did. One of my biggest, probably, to give me a lot of inspiration, was the Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Buddha was a prince, have everything. But he quit everything to become the Buddha. So that means in order to get something, we have to lose something. So sometimes we have to let something inside yourself to die if you want to reborn. So he let himself die and to become the Buddha, to forget what he was thinking what he was, in order to find who actually the person who really was, not the person who was thinking he was. So that is my big inspiration, is the Buddha. Also Jesus Christ. I don't think it's one. And Jesus Christ says something powerful. It's in the Bible. Man, the human, will not get sick or ill for something coming to your mouth, inside your mouth. If for something comes out your mouth, that they create a problem. So just be careful what you're thinking and what you say. And Jesus said, you ask and you will receive. Knock, knock, then you receive. This is the biggest hero that if you call hero, But the biggest inspiration, the Buddha and Jesus. When Jesus was dying, say, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. And we still, after 2,000 years, we're still blind. We still don't know what we're doing. Yes. It has not much change. War, the situation. Power, war, so much violence. It's all what we're doing. It all is mine. This is probably my conclusion. So I invite the people to reflect about their life and maybe try to do something. Don't be scared to try different things. Even some people go to scared, shaman, meditation, what is that? You don't need to feel scared of anything. Like me, I will never know I will become a teacher if I not try. You will never know what it is until you give a try. Meditation will not kill you. Yes. Breathing will not kill you. Even it's free. You breathing, conscious, you get medicine. So I encourage the people, your audience, to be more daring. Because trust me, we carry this matrix in the mind.
Challenge yourself.
Yes, you ask me why people sometimes don't want to keep the process, because of the mind. The ego mind doesn't want you kill the ego mind. That's why we create so many trickies. Oh, you're too tired. Oh, no, this is not good. Baby, try this. Find something in YouTube. Yeah, it's good. Trust me, the healing will not come until you defeat your own demon, as the Buddha did. Thank you so much.
That's a great way to end it.
Thank you.
And thank you very much. True inspiration. And I love doing podcasts that have positive energy. And you definitely have full of positive energies. And I really appreciate you welcoming me in tonight. And I wish you nothing but the best for the future.
Thank you, my brother.
All the best.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nigel the Shanghai Psychic. I can tune into your loved ones in the spirit world, but I can also tune into you, tell you about your path and the choices that you need to make and need to know. I'm currently giving 30% discount on all Tell Craig Your Story listeners. Just use the code Tell Craig Your Story for 30% off your first psychic reading with me online at Nigel the Shanghai Psychic.